What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Scene Invaders podcast channel. I'm Chad.
I'm Carly.
And this is Chad and Carly's Creepy Corner. Carly and I are the two horror lovers of the Scene Invaders podcast. And we decided to create Chad and Carly's Creepy Corner because we want to talk about horror movies just a little bit more than we normally get to. So this is the inaugural episode, and we figured what better film series to start off with than Final Destination, because Final Destination Bloodlines has just recently come out. So we're going to talk about all 6 of these movies, share our favorite kills from each movie, and rank these movies at the end. So yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. This is the inaugural episode, so it should be an adventure. We'll see how this goes, right? All right, so we're going to get this started off with Final Destination, the first film from the year 2000. Young Alex and a group of classmates are set to embark on a trip to Paris for a school trip when he has a sudden premonition of the plane going down, ending the lives of everyone on board. He jumps into action to warn everyone, sparing some of their lives, but setting in motion an unstoppable chain of events and death coming to collect what he didn't get the first time around. So I think I basically know how you feel about these movies overall, but how do you feel about the first Final Destination?
Oh man, I watched the first one in theaters with my brother. It was such a great experience. My brother's 4 years older than me. So I believe when it came out, I might have been about 16. And It just really, it was a great experience. I remember especially one certain death scene, the whole audience just erupted.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I think you know which one I'm talking about.
Yes, of course. Yeah, this movie, I was a little bit older than you, but I don't recall ever seeing this in theaters, but I did rent a lot of movies back in the day. Back in the day, kids, there used to be things called video
good
stores
old days,
where you would go and actually pick out movies and bring them home and return them the next day. So I definitely saw it that way. And I love this movie. I think it is an absolute blast. This came out sort of during the time of this like slasher resurgence that Scream brought us. And I think this still sort of falls into the category of a slasher in a way, but in just a very unique way that we just really hadn't seen before, at least not on a scale like this. Because I mean, as I alluded to earlier, I mean, this is essentially people who are cheating death and death coming back to collect them because they should be dead. And yeah, I think this movie is a blast. Rewatching all of these for this video, I thought was so insanely fun. I had not seen this or any of them for a long time, at least 14 years since whenever the last part 5 came out. I have not watched any Final Destination during this time. So I am super thankful that we did this because this reignited my love for this series in a really major way.
Oh, for sure. I did not realize how much I missed the Final Destination series until I rewatched it. I was like, wow, this is a very consistent series.
It is. I think it's extremely consistent. I think it's kind of right there with maybe even like something like Scream as far as consistency goes, and like the Evil Dead series and being consistent. Maybe not quite as consistent. I mean, there's a dud here. We'll definitely get there when we talk about that one. But
is it really though a dud?
I mean, that's true. That's true. It's not exactly. It's not unwatchable. And will I watch it again? Yes, I will.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I think what's so interesting here is how the deaths play out. They're always so intricate and elaborate. I mean, not always. You do get a lot of, like, another signature of the series is a sudden, unexpected death. But I love the long, intricate, just constant tension building. Like, what's going to happen? You have all these 7 different elements at play. Any of these things could take a character out, and it's just so fun.
Yeah, it always like just plays with your expectations too, because you think it's going to go one way, and it's like, no, wait, oh, it's going to go this way. Nope, that way. Like, oh, fuck, it went that way.
Absolutely. And I think the premonition scene in this is, I mean, honestly, I don't think there's a truly bad premonition scene in any of the movies, but I think this one really taps into people's fears of flying. I think a lot of people share that fear. And I think a lot of the premonition scenes in this series do do that. They tried to tap into something that people could actually have like a genuine fear over, but I thought this one was extremely effective. And I think kicks off a hell of a series. I understand why this is so popular and why people love it so much. So yeah, thank you for Final Destination, guys. This was such a good one. So in Final Destination 1, I know we're going to name our favorite kill, and I'm just curious to know what yours is.
Ooh, okay. So this was tough because I really enjoy two of them, but for different reasons. But I would have to say that my favorite one is the first one is Todd, the shower strangulation.
It's so good. It's so good.
The fact that, I don't know if you know this, but the whole water scene, that's actually practical. They built little like sets that they could, kind of manipulate and move the water for real. So that's not CGI water. Wow. So that just the whole setup, because you're following him around the bathroom. He keeps doing all these dangerous things. You see the water. You see, maybe he'll get electrocuted. Maybe he'll slip and stab himself while he's trimming his nose hairs.
Yeah.
But then, oh man, and the whole fact that it could happen. It made it look like a suicide. I mean, how awful is that? I mean,
or even a murder, because I like that they played with that in this first movie too, with the main character whose name I can't, Alex.
Alex.
Yeah, with him like kind of looking being made to look suspicious throughout this movie, because he had this premonition, and he kind of is inconveniently at the scene of a lot of these accidents and stuff.
Yes.
But I think this death is really good because of that, because it really plays into that side of it too. Of course, we know that Alex is not up to no good, but it just still, like, for the other characters in the movie and everyone who might be suspecting him, it just kind of adds that extra layer of like tension and fun, and yeah, really good. So is that your favorite one?
That is my favorite one out of the first one.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it was so close for me. Oh, I almost chose that one. It's the one, honestly, like when I thought back on this movie before I watched it again, that I remembered the most. But my favorite has to go to the teacher, Miss Luton. This is another one of those. Yeah, another one of those where just so many things are happening. You see all of these things coming together that could be what take her out. And I mean, like, suddenly a computer explodes in her face, and then her house is completely on fire, and then she falls, and then she's trying to grab that towel, and like the knives fall down and stab into her, and then the chair falls on her to like push the knives like all the way into her. It's just so like elaborate and insane and convoluted. And I mean, I laughed so much during these movies, and I mean, it is a little bit sadistic, I guess, but I think that is the intention of the filmmakers too. Like, they know this is fun, they know it's ridiculous, they know it's silly, and I bought it. Like, I was up here in my office watching these, and Chris was like, "Are you having a good time?"
And I am, yes.
Yes, I am, because even like kind of some of the worst ones, they're just all so insane and fun and funny. And I was like, yes, this is amazing. But yeah, Final Destination for me, year 2000. Absolutely a classic, a modern classic in horror, and kicked off an amazing franchise that I'm going to imagine now there's going to be a 7 on the way, because Bloodlines, the newest film, has made the most money in the series, and people are hungry for it, man. That 14-year wait was maybe a good idea to give them a little time to recalibrate after 4 and 5, and put their time and effort into making something good. Now we're going to move on to Final Destination 2 from 2003. 1 year after the disaster of Flight 180, we follow Kimberly, who, while road tripping with friends, has the now infamous logging truck premonition, which means that those she saved aren't safe for long. And I'd say this movie absolutely kicks off with I mean, they all do, but this is a hell of a bang for this movie to kick off with. What are your thoughts on Final Destination 2?
Well, I freaking loved it. This is a great movie. It has, in my opinion, the absolute best premonition scene in the series. It's
I agree.
Mostly practical. I want to say Really, the only thing that obviously they have to put some CGI to enhance some things like fire and things like that. But and of course the infamous logs, which were also CGI. But
Sure.
other than that, most of the car accidents, all of that stuff is practical, and that's why it holds up so well.
Yeah, I'm absolutely with you on this. I think this is definitely the best premonition scene amongst a lot of very good premonition scenes. There's just something that is so visceral about this, so realistic about it. And I mean, honestly, from the moment I saw this movie, every single time I see a log truck on the road, this is exactly what I think about every single time. I'm like, I'm not getting Final Destination today. Absolutely
Exactly.
not. I was going to say, I think that this movie should have a little like subtitle under it. Final Destination 2, Kimberly's Visions.
Oh my God, I know her visions are so ridiculous. And I love the fact that, I don't know if you noticed this, but Ali Larter is actually top billed in the movie, like over AJ Cook. It's
Okay, I did not realize that. Ali Larter, has the best character name in all of cinema ever, is Clear Rivers, and I will never ever forget that. It's just the most iconic name. I think they do her a little bit dirty in this movie, kind of, but she's just so much fun, and I think this movie is so much fun. This sort of introduces a character named Isabel who's pregnant, and they think that maybe with the birth of her child that this is going to like stop death coming after them and stop death's design. And it's fun to watch this play out, and I kind of like that new element, and I like how heavily tied into the first one this is. It's very much like a hand in hand with this one, and I think this is another like exceptional movie in this franchise. It's just an absolute blast from start to finish, and you can't go wrong with it, man.
I really like how they changed it up. It's a nice fake out where you think you're going to be following her and her friends, and then they're the first ones to die.
Yeah.
And then you're following all these strangers, which I liked all of the characters. There were some great characters in there.
I did too. I really like everyone in this movie. One thing that does bother me about this movie, though, because Alex was such a big part of the first one, is them referring to his death off screen. I'm like,
by a fucking brick of all things, a falling brick. What a way to go!
I was just like, guys, like, I mean, either don't mention it at all, but don't do him dirty like that. He's Alex, guys. He brought us Final Destination, and
exactly.
Just refer to it in such a throwaway way just absolutely did not work for me, but it doesn't drag this movie down. I think it's an absolute blast and a great continuation of the series, with I think some of the best deaths in the series, for sure.
Yes, consistently, I think. Definitely.
Yeah, oh my God, definitely. So my favorite kill from Final Destination 2 is going to be Little Tim and his trip.
Oh, mine too. Mine too. Okay.
It's just so insane because there are so many things that they're piling on that could go wrong here. I mean, he chokes on a rubber toy that falls into his mouth and all of this shit, and for him to make it through all of that, and everybody hates the fucking dentist anyway. Like nobody likes to go to the dentist. So just all of this is already kind of just insanely unnerving because it's just like, oh, teeth and mouth and medical setting and all of this, but only for him to survive the dentist just fine and come out where fucking Kimberly has to run in about pigeons,
right?
So that a big giant pane of glass falls on him, just flattening him like a pancake. It's such a great looking scene.
Yes,
and it's just so over the top and so insane and a blast.
Can we just give poor Tim a moment of silence? I mean,
for real, pour one out for Tim, guys.
That's right. He was originally supposed to be 8 years old, by the way. His character.
Oh wow,
was supposed to be 8 years old, and I love the quote I love what he says to his mom before he goes to the dentist. If he gives me the gas and I wake up with my pants unbuttoned, we ain't paying.
Okay.
And then of course his mother's actual response. She's like, Tim.
So funny.
It's almost like something that my son would say to me if I were to take him to the dentist.
Yes,
I can totally see him saying that.
Another good standout in this one for me, though, was the lottery winning guy. I liked the whole chain of events that get him to the point where the ladder falls down on him, that would probably be a second place for me with this. But
I agree.
Tim's is just so shocking that it's just too iconic. It's just one of the great moments of the movie for sure.
I just really think that part 2 has a good expansion on the lore. I like how they kind of turned it around with the whole Flight 180, with another 180 being a complete 360, of course. Full circle. And of course, the scene where all of the characters are headed to the hospital, once they find the pregnant woman. I like that, how they kind of figure out how they've all kind of cheated death as a result of Alex telling the people to get off of the flight for 180.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Next up, guys, we have Final Destination 3 from 2006. Wendy and a group of other high school seniors visit an amusement park. And while Wendy is documenting the night by taking photos, she has a premonition of her boyfriend and others dying tragically on the Devil's Flight roller coaster, introducing an interesting new photo mechanic to the movies. And I really
I'm kind of glad that they got rid of that pretty fast. It was it was good for an implementation for, a new movie in the series. And I like that. But oh boy, I just kind of got to be a slog towards the end there with these pictures. I was like, okay.
Tried to decipher everything that's happening here.
I think this is just more of a case of let's look at let's look at these pictures after the people have died and how it makes sense.
Yeah,
instead of trying to protect them, other than Ashley and Ashlyn. So,
oh my God, which we'll get to them for sure.
Yes.
I think the opening of this one on a roller coaster. I'm a thrill seeker. I love big, scary rides, and part of that love is sort of the fear of it all because it feels so dangerous and unsafe. You're hurtling across metal track at 80 miles an hour, and if this thing flies off, you're fucked. And this movie definitely shows you that. So the opening roller coaster crash off the rails here, I think, is incredibly effective, extremely fun. I think this is maybe the most fun opening of them all because it is serious, and yes, people are dying, but there's just something that feels, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, a little bit lighter about this one. I don't know if it's the amusement park setting or the fact that it could be the amusement park setting, but I think this opening is extremely fun. Not my favorite of the series. I think we all know what that is already, but this was, I really like this movie as well, man. I like part 3 quite a bit. When I was researching this and looking into this, I never realized this, but I guess that when this came out on DVD, it actually had a choose your own adventure sort of feature.
It did, and I had that. I had it. Oh my God, it was so much fun to play around with it. I cannot believe that I have lost that DVD. I'm so upset at myself for losing it. But yes, it was. I remember buying it when it came out because I saw this one in theaters as well. But it's a choose your fate. But it's kind of like a choose your own adventure where they had filmed so many deleted scenes that they then added into the DVD for that interactive feature, which was really fun.
I kind of wonder about that in a way. I wonder if they had so much extra because maybe this film was not testing well with audiences or something like that.
That is why I think. I remember seeing something about that. They had to change a couple of things and just
Okay. So they were like, hell, let's use all this footage that we have and make. I mean, that makes it so much fun.
It does.
I mean, I shouldn't say I miss physical media. It's not like it doesn't exist anymore. But I might get crucified for this, but I have not bought physical media in quite a while. I've pretty much gone digital with everything, and not exactly proud of that. I sort of wish I'd never gone that direction, but I feel like it's too late now.
It's never too late to start collecting. No, it's never too late.
This is very true. But even with Blu-rays and stuff on their way out right now, kind of it's a scary time for media. But the camera mechanic, I actually really liked that in this movie. I liked it better than Kimberly's premonition.
True. I agree. That's fair.
it just added sort of this fun element to, and a guessing game and sort of a puzzly sort of feeling of how are these people going to go out? And I think this movie also has a lot of really, really great kills. But number one for me, and I'm going to imagine we might share the same best kill from this movie, are going to be Ashley and Ashlyn in the tanning bed.
Oh, yes.
It's so iconic again, like just one of the most iconic moments throughout the whole entirety of the series, in my opinion.
And I can't believe how much like titties they showed during this entire, so like they just kept cutting back to them. I was like, whoa, oh, there they are again. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, now they're burning. Okay, okay. This is not as good anymore. But up until that point, I was like, whoa, that's a lot of boobies.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Ashley and Ashlyn smuggle in a drink that they're really not supposed to have into the tanning bedroom, and a loose shelf essentially falls down, trapping them in their tanning beds that are side by side. And the condensation from this cup makes the tanning beds go haywire and keep ratcheting up the heat until essentially they just burn to death.
While listening to Love Roller Coaster.
Yes. So. While listening to Love Roller Coaster, just every single thing about it is so, it's perfect. I think this is a perfect kill, like a 100% for me. One of my favorite moments in any of this entire series. And
the total chef's kiss, or cherry on top, is the match cut to the coffins.
Yes. Oh my God. Just that snapped right to the coffins. So good. And a fun fact for this movie is that even though he wasn't in it, this is Tony Todd's voice at the Devil's Flight roller coaster at the beginning. I believe his voice is used one other time in this. Do you know where?
It's at the end of the subway station.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he said next. I said last. Next stop is the last stop, or something like that. But yes, his voice was used twice.
Gotcha. I'm definitely a Tony Todd respecter, and anytime his presence is in something, even if it's just his voice, it has a magical quality. And I think that this is one of the most rewatchable of the series for me. It's just, like I said, it has that sort of lighter sort of feeling to it in a weird way. And it's just kind of so like over the top and silly. I mean, they all are, but this one really kind of leans into being a little bit more over the top and a little sillier than previous ones. And it's like one I could see myself probably throwing on some of the most out of any of the series here.
Yeah. And then, of course, Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character, Wendy, apparently she was written as a bubbly blonde at first, but after they saw her audition, they're like, no, we got to rewrite this character.
Okay, right.
So, yeah. And I mean, I feel like Mary Elizabeth Winstead is a little too good for this movie, but she's also constantly crying.
Okay,
she's always crying, but she's a very good crier. So.
And I think up until this point in the series, like most all of the acting roles and acting across the board is actually pretty good for this. Like considering the type of movie it is, it never feels too cheap. Nobody's taking it too seriously, but not too unseriously. You know what I mean? Like I think it's good performances pretty much across the board. And yeah, this continues that trend for sure. One movie that did not continue the trend of good performances is Final Destination 4 from 2009, also known as The Final Destination, where college student Nick and his boring friends are at the McKinley Speedway when suddenly he is plagued with visions of a fatal crash, not only ending the driver's lives, but many lives of those in attendance. And now we've hit the point in the series where the quality takes a little bit of a dip. I think the first three movies were very consistent in quality and effects, acting, scripts, story, all of that. And then along comes part 4. And yeah, I saw this when it was out, and I know you said that this was the last one that you saw actually, but I didn't remember anything about this movie. It was kind of almost like watching it again for the first time when I put it on. And I did have a good time with it, but it has some problems for sure.
Yeah, this is the last movie that minus of course Bloodlines. Before Bloodlines, this was the last one that I had seen in theaters, and it kind of soured my whole experience with the series, because up until this movie, I really was enjoying them for the most part. But I just remember when I saw it in theaters, I was so disappointed. But I will say that after watching it again recently, twice.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, right.
She's committed, yo.
It's actually like, okay, it's a terrible movie. It is not a good movie. And the
But-
CGI is bad. It's like Sharknado. It's Sci-Fi Channel levels of, CGI. It's a total time capsule of 2009
Yes.
and what was popular at that time with the 3D and the butt
yeah.
rock. I mean, but with that being said, there's something that's very endearing about that. It's a very endearing quality. It's fun. It's not a good movie. It definitely has the lamest kill in the entire series.
Agreed.
But
I'm wondering if ours are going to be the same.
it better be, because he was done dirty.
Okay.
But yes.
I agree with you on this. I think this movie is extremely fun still. It's, from a technical perspective, no question, the worst.
Yes.
The CGI.
The lighting is terrible.
The performances, the script.
Yes.
Even the opening thing at the
It's
Speedway.
not good. Yeah.
Because every other movie in this series really taps into like a real fear that people may have. And this is just like a race car event. And yeah, I guess maybe a couple of people might have a fear that something's going to go wrong and they're going to die there. But I don't think that's like a universal fear for a lot of people, the way that planes or a roller coaster or things like that are. So while it is kind of thrilling in a way to watch everything just absolutely go to hell, I think that it just does not hit nearly the same as all of these other ones. And especially with just the terrible looking CGI. All these movies use CGI. They have to for some of the stuff that they're doing. And I mean, I guess there probably could be a way to do all of this practically, but that would, I'm sure, be insanely expensive and time consuming. But the CGI just kind of drags it down. But in saying that, it's just still so fun. It's like a so bad it's good. And there's another movie that technically is better on this list, but I would pick this one up and watch it first.
Agreed. Totally agree. I totally agree. Because it's just, I remember in just the past 2 times that I've watched it, I watched it again, just this scene, just a few minutes ago.
Okay.
Of like, the event happens, the friends are at a coffee joint afterwards. It's on the news. They're talking about how many people are dead so far and that they're still fishing people out of the rubble, but yet they're going to have a memorial the next fucking night at the raceway. It's like, why? What is this? And then that memorial scene. Oh my goodness, that acting, that was some stellar acting. It was just so cute how they were all trying their darndest. They were really trying.
They really were.
Yeah, and the racist character, when he drops that hard R, I'm like, oh my God.
I screamed. I
was like,
did not remember. I did not remember that at all. And I was like, what in the fuck just happened? What is happening? And he calls him like chocolate at one point. I was dying.
But what's even crazier is he goes for the hard R before the chocolate comment. I'm like, why aren't we working up to it?
Okay, right. He didn't even ramp up.
He said, your time's coming, chocolate.
Which I mean is not funny. It's just funny in this context.
Exactly.
So
the delivery is absurd. It's ridiculous. The actor is Justin Wellborn, who is an actual Atlanta native. So he is like, I'm all for, I'm also from Atlanta. I love him and his little roles that he has, his little niche roles.
Okay.
So I'm always happy whenever I see him show up in a big screen movie.
Okay, but nice. Yeah. And he knows exactly what he's doing here. He knows his character is completely unlikable, just a racist, redneck piece of shit. And I think that while it is not my favorite in this movie, I think his death scene is actually pretty good. This man he's on his fucking way to burn a cross in the security guard's yard that prevented him from going back to like try and save his girlfriend or whatever.
It's his wife, by the way.
Oh, it's wife. Okay.
Wife,
that's
like,
where I'm about to find
nobody's even giving him credit. His poor wife. It's not even his girlfriend.
Right.
I feel bad for him, but why are you burning crosses in poor George's yard?
Yeah, that's
poor
what I'm saying.
/ Bubba Gump.
And I mean, it is kind of like the way his death scene plays out, where he's like getting drugged through the street essentially and stuff. It does call back to like times of racism and stuff like that. So I thought that it was pretty good. I thought it was like a kind of like a good all rounder as far as like everything ramping up, the death, and kind of like the meaning behind all of it and all of that. But still not my favorite kill in this movie, but it's probably my second place. What is your favorite kill for part?
That actually is my favorite kill.
Okay.
Yeah, just because it's absurd, it's funny, it's ridiculous. Of course, you know, Why Can't We Be Friends is playing, so makes it even better.
It was a close one for me. It is almost what I picked. The two that I have are kind of neck and neck, but the one that I had to go with was Hunt in the pool. It's just, I hate his character so much.
Yes.
I really didn't like any of the characters in this movie, to be fair.
No, they're awful.
Yeah, they're awful.
And I will say, listen, I will say that I had no idea. I was like, I knew that was it Nick and his girlfriend? I don't even remember his girlfriend's name. Nick and his girlfriend. And then Janet and the guy that got his butthole sucked out.
Yes.
Tyler, maybe?
Hunt.
That's
Hunt.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I was like, how are they? I was like, are they boyfriend and girlfriend? Because now he's saying that he's going to go fuck somebody. And it's like, and I just, out of watching it almost 3 times now, I just caught the line from Janet saying, I can't believe I ever dated you. I was like, and I can't believe that I missed this line like 3 fucking times in this movie. Because I was like, who are they? I was like, I know they're friends, but yeah.
But yeah, his scene, I think, is just so insanely over the top. And I think it's the most fun death in the movie. So basically, he's at the pool. A coin. He goes after a coin for whatever the fuck reason. It's
his
the
lucky
bottom of this,
coin.
Oh yeah, his lucky coin. To the bottom of the pool, where this pump is working overdrive, bitch. Like this pump is pumping. So he essentially gets suctioned onto this pump right at his asshole, and it tears his insides out. And it's just so, I was like, at first I was like, what even just happened there? What happened? And I had to rewind that and watch it again. And it got the biggest laugh for me out of this movie. And I think it's the kill I'll probably remember the most. What was the other guy's name? Carter? The racist guy?
I don't remember. I just remember as the racist.
Yeah, the racist.
Racist.
That's all we need to know him as.
Yes.
Again, that was almost my favorite death, but just the absolute glee and insanity of the pool scene. Chef's kiss. Love it. And again, even though we've kind of shit on this movie, I think we both agree that it still belongs in the franchise. It maybe kind of has the least to do with the other movies of the franchise, I would say, as far as like tying in with everything. It feels like the most oddball, but I still would. I'm glad that it exists, and I'll happily watch it again, because now that I've rewatched all these, I feel this is a series I'm definitely going to go back and revisit more often now and rewatch, because I just forgot how much fun they are. And this is like, all of this series is like the perfect, like throw it on at a party with a big group of friends, have some drinks, have some laughs, and like this is like meant to be seen with a rowdy crowd and have good times with. And yeah.
I will say that Final Destination 4 was not bad, but Tony Todd didn't even want to be in it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
He had zero fuck all to do with this one. So unfortunately, he is not a voice of any character, and he does not show up as William Bloodsworth or whatever his name is.
We don't have time for that. We need Tony Todd. And while this movie does have some pretty good kills, to me, I think it also has the worst kill in the series. And I'm curious. I know you said that part 4 had your worst kill as well. So I'm dying to know if we have the same one. What do you think is the worst kill?
Oh, God. It's got to be George.
Oh, okay.
He just is like hit by the ambulance twice. Like we get it the first time when Nick is having a premonition, and then he like wakes up from the premonition just in enough time to have George get hit again. It's
Gotcha.
like, it was such a cop out. It did not work for me. Poor George. He's just trying to kill himself all day, only to be taken out by a fucking ambulance.
Exactly. Well, death was like the only reason that I didn't choose that one, because I did think about that one for sure, is just because I sort of liked how he had been trying to like constantly kill himself.
Yeah.
Death was not allowing that because it was not his time yet. And then suddenly it was just like, now's your time. I sort of like that.
That's fair. And at least he didn't have to suffer. I bet I know which one is your worst then.
So mine is going to be Jonathan, the cowboy, who is in the hospital.
Oh yeah, that was so lame.
In the room above him, they're about to like basically give someone a bath, and they leave the room with this tub filling up, and it floods the room, and within like 3 minutes, 2-3 minutes, it's soaking through the ceiling of a hospital,
right,
for everything to come crashing down on him. And I mean, none of these movies are based in reality really in any way. They're all over the top. You have to suspend your disbelief and all of that, but that one just felt the cheapest to me, kind of. I didn't think that one was great. And it was also a character that, like,
yeah, who even fucking remembered him?
Yeah, exactly. If they would have never brought him up again.
Death didn't even remember him. Remember? Death was like, I guess that's the end. And then he saw on the report that the cowboy's still alive, and he's like, fuck, I gotta keep going.
That's it for real. But yeah, that one, I thought it was sort of the weakest here. And I mean, I think you could point to some of the kills through the series that are sudden or very quick. There's one in part 5 I'll discuss when we get there that there's something that's still so fun, sort of, and like shocking about those like super quick moments where you don't have all of this like ramping up and 17 different things that could potentially like kill someone. And
and hearkening back to part 2 with Kat and the whole airbag scene. And that was completely shocking. I was like, oh yeah, she's fine. She just told her, you go, I'm fine. Everything's fine. And then bam, she's fucking dead.
Yeah, because they usually find a good mix of those two things. Because I mean, not every death can be some like super convoluted like mousetrap effect of like all of these things that have to come together. So yeah, I almost chose a couple of like the quick ones, but I think they're usually always still pretty effective and stuff. And yeah, Jonathan, you deserve a better home. You deserved a better death, in my opinion. All right, that brings us to Final Destination 5 from 2011. Sam is headed to a corporate retreat, which is its own kind of hell, but nothing like the hell he will face after he foresees an insane and epic bridge collapse and saving his friends and co-workers from the tragedy. So going into 5, I didn't know what to expect. I had seen it, but it was another one like part 4 that I just straight up just did not really remember. And again, like watching this one, it was like watching it for the first time again. I saw it when it came out in 2011 and not since. And I think this movie opens up with a hell of a bang. This was almost my top choice for best premonition scene. It's just so epic and huge and grand, and it has a lot of CGI, but I think it's put to much better use here than part 4. And that bridge collapse scene, it really taps again into like a real true fear that people have, and like how fucked you would be if you were in a situation like this. So I thought this movie opened extremely strong.
I did too. I did not see this in theaters when it came out. I think it was a mixture of being so sour on the 4th one, and 2011 was a very rough year for me. Okay. Personal reasons, but yeah, I did not see it in theaters, and I just saw it for the first time just last week. Watched it at least 2.5 times. I want to say it's almost a return to form. It's like competently shot. I enjoyed it, but to be honest with you, it's just probably the least memorable one that I have out of the series that I've watched. I just really don't care about any of the characters. I mean, I hate to say that because they're not bad. I don't care.
Well, I think they're more well written here. There's certainly better performances in this movie, but I'm with you. This movie felt almost too glossy in a way. It felt like too
clinical. Almost.
Yeah, it was like the CW-ification of like the Final Destination series. It just was all like everybody was clearly like 35 playing like 22-year-olds, like that kind of shit. And I did like this. I mean, I thought it was fun.
It's not bad.
Here I truly dislike. And while it is technically better than part 4, I would pick up and watch part 4 before I would watch this again, for sure.
I agree.
And I did think this did introduce something kind of interesting, though, toward the end with like the murder strategy. I thought that was an interesting direction to go. I thought it was sort of a fresh take to go and intentionally end people's lives to try to like save yourself and stuff like that.
And get their time.
But yeah, this one, it just, again, I would give it a positive review, but in the grand scheme of things, I think it is just It's so, guys.
Yeah,
Poor Sam deserved better.
he did.
And I do think there are some great kills in this movie, though. And I have a feeling we're probably going to have the same, I would think.
I hope so.
Here.
What's
But
yours?
my favorite kill is Candace.
Yes.
I mean,
So good.
this is, I think, it's in the very top of the kills for this entire series. So Candace is a gymnast, and this is Final Destination. Every single thing that happens here, because you see all these pieces laid out. So a screw drops from a vent in the ceiling onto the. She's a gymnast, like I said. So it's like I don't know what it's called. Like
I think it's the balance beam.
Yeah, like a balance beam. And she's doing her little routine and getting her gymnastics on. And the screw is, of course, Final Destination style, pointed straight up. So you're just waiting for her to step on it at any time. And then you see all these other things coming into play. You see a fan. You see this big tub of like powder. You see water and electricity. And you see like a thing in the ceiling coming loose that could come down. And it's just like, where in the hell, what's going to happen here to take this girl out? So she survives the balance beam and gets onto the uneven bars. And little homegirl number 2 jumps up on that balance beam. And while she's doing her routine, Candace is on her uneven bars. Baby girl steps on that screw, drops down onto that like big tub of like powder, like this athletic powder, which sprays that all over Candace. And then she dismounts and lands on the floor, basically folded in half with a hell of a crunching sound.
Yeah.
I scream laughed at this. And I did kind of remember it in a way, but I just didn't remember how it all played out.
Exactly.
It just is so crazy. The amount of this, I think, has like some of, other than maybe Bloodlines, like some of the most, like what could this be? Like what could possibly be like what's going to take her out here? It's kind of one of the most convoluted setups. And for it to be something so simple and so clearly not aligned with reality, no one's going to dismount from the balance beam and fold themselves in half and like completely break their body. But it was so satisfying and so hilarious and fun.
Yes. One thing I think an issue that I'm having with part 5 is the fact that we really get no passage of time. I have no idea how long it's been since the accident. When the bridge accident happens, they already have the forensics back in 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like it was the wind and the work that was being done to it. It's like, well, duh, but I don't know. And they were already, the people that were at the office, all of their stuff was still in there, but then they had the memorial. I don't know how long the passage of time was for this movie. It was kind of confusing. I get it doesn't really matter, but it was kind of silly.
And yeah, and I'm definitely with you on that. There's just something that is off about this movie. It's not bad. It's perfectly watchable, but there is just something that's a little bit off here. I think it is a bit more of a return to form kind of after 4, but it's just the least exciting kind of. I mean,
especially with the whole wraparound story that they do. I did appreciate that.
I had seen this and I totally forgot about that. So the big twist in this movie is that you find out that this actually takes place before part 1 and Flight 180. This movie actually ends on Flight 180, like completely wrapping the series around in a circle. And I thought that was actually smart and pretty good. And I'm kind of surprised because I had just watched all these movies. I only watched it the one time, so I need to watch it again and look for all the clues that are pointing to this being like a prequel, essentially. But I thought that was pretty smart and a really good way to handle things. And honestly, if the series ended there, I think it could have ended in a way worse way. So I think that would have made for a pretty good, complete, 5-film series.
Nice little bookend.
But yeah, a good little bookend that just sort of brings everything full circle and in a mostly pretty fun way, even with the CWification of it all. So, I mean, clearly things did not stop with Final Destination 5 because in 2025, this year, we have Final Destination Bloodlines. In 1968, Iris has a premonition of a tragedy at the new high-rise in town collapsing and leaving everyone in attendance for dead. But after we find out she stopped the tragedy, we learn that there are generations of people who shouldn't be alive, and it's time for death to come knocking. I was extremely excited for this movie. I don't even really know why. Like I didn't really solidify how much I love this series until like I just rewatched all of these again after Bloodlines. But something felt right and good about a new Final Destination movie coming. I did see the first teaser in the tattoo parlor, and I was like, oh, this feels so good. Bring it back. I'm so excited here. And yeah, I kind of went into this one with pretty high hopes, and I think that this one met my high hopes.
And I'm going to say I actually have the opposite, like, kind of deal with this movie, because I was not looking forward to it, even though I loved the series to begin with. I had no issues with it, but it just seemed kind of like more like a cash grab. Sure. I really wasn't that interested in it. I had seen the first teaser trailer at the tattoo parlor. It actually kind of pissed me off. I was like, why are we getting all of this? I don't want to see this in a teaser trailer.
Sure.
But I will say that once I watched the movie, I was sadly mistaken. I was proven wrong. I freaking love this movie, and I do not have a problem at all with that being in the teaser trailer now.
Yeah, I agree.
The full movie, I like what they did.
Yeah, I do too. I thought that was actually really smart, because I sort of felt the same as you in a way, but I think I liked it so much because I was like, oh, this just feels so very Final Destination. And I'm like, oh, please be like all these very elaborate setups and stuff. And it really made me excited. But this one, I thought this was great. This one, the premonition scene in this is absolutely just grand scale and epic, and just one thing after another, where, I mean, you have people falling through like a glass dance floor, and pianos falling on people, and that little shit of a kid, fucking Penny.
Yes.
Oh, even though he didn't really die, like him getting smashed by that piano and shit, it was so satisfying. I was like, yeah, you little fuck, you deserve that shit. But yeah, this one I thought really put the series really back on track.
I agree.
And really in a fresh way, because I love this idea of now all of these like people, just countless people who are alive that should not be, because Iris stopped this death. I didn't love how they kind of Laurie Stroded her a little bit and made her like Laurie Strode in the new Halloween trilogy, but it didn't. I mean, it certainly didn't detract much for me. But I was kind of like, okay,
it was a little
tired
silly
of this character.
Yeah. Well, and her whole like compound looked like it was like the most dangerous fucking shit ever for her, not for.
God, no kidding.
I wouldn't want to go outside either if my yard looked like that. If it was full of, spikes and shit. Yeah.
I will say the main girl in this,
she was kind of flat a little bit.
Yeah,
she wasn't bad. She was a little flat, kind of like what's her name, Kimberly from Part 2, which I also thought was a little flat. But yeah. Can we talk about the genetic makeup of that family, by the way? The only question that I have is the fact that her last name is Reyes and her father is clearly Japanese. Right. Okay, what's going on with that?
Okay,
it's just the father. Her brother was fine. Her brother actually looked like the mother a little bit. Looked like it could be. She was fine. They just needed a new dad.
Right.
That was the only, just that. It was a little weird.
Yeah, no, I agree. I kind of wondered about that.
But it's a movie, but yeah.
But I sort of chalked it up to, oh God, it's hard to tell. It's 2025, I guess. Families can be anything that you want. But I thought the supporting cast of characters here was some of the most fun in a way. I love the tattoo guy. He's
Eric,
my favorite character in this movie.
Best character in the entire series, to be honest with you at this point.
I loved him. He was just so much fun. He had the best lines, the best laughs. And yeah, he left his brother. Right. Yeah, right. Exactly. Aww. I wouldn't have been mad to see him be the main character in this and get rid of baby girl.
Right.
And this movie is, I think, so earlier today, Carly and I were talking, and she was like, I'll send you a kill count for these movies. And I was like, okay, great. And I was surprised to see the kill count for this one be as low as it is. But then, of course, it does make sense because all of this tragedy at the beginning is something that was completely avoided. And yeah,
which is a great
otherwise,
twist. Because that's the first time we've seen the actual premonition not come true and the people all live.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we also didn't get to see the aftermath of the premonition until, further into the movie, which I liked. I like how they cut that up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this definitely sets the franchise on a new, fresh path while still maintaining it's
respecting it.
Oh, it's still extremely Final Destination in every way. I think that the people who made this clearly love this series.
Yes.
They cared about doing this right and setting up these elaborate kills in the best way, and all of this misdirection and fake out and tension building and fun.
Yes.
They wanted this movie to be fun, and it is insanely fun. I've only seen it one time. I was going to go back and see it again. So I'm actually dying for a rewatch. There's so many things out that I likely probably will not go back and see this again in the theater. But as soon as this is available, for home viewing, I'm absolutely on this again, because especially now that I've gone through the whole series again so recently, I really want to watch this now, close to that. And yeah, I think this is actually, we're going to rank these at the end, but this is one of my favorites of the series, and a true, I don't even want to say it's a return to form, because it is, but it's a return to form mixed with a great new direction.
Yes. Because
it makes me excited to see where part 7, because this is the movie that has made the most money in the franchise so far. So I'm very excited to see, because of course we know there's going to be another one because money's involved, but I'm excited to see where they take this. And I think there's a lot of directions they could do that all really work and make a lot of sense, and kind of just expand this series a bit and try some new things that are still Final Destination, but just freshen things up a bit. This gave them a license to freshen this series up.
Yes.
And this, even though has the lowest kill count of all the movies, I think has
the best in the entire series, in my opinion.
There are 2 kills in this movie that are absolute all-timers, in my opinion. I have a feeling maybe we might have chosen differently on this.
We may have.
I was torn, because there are 2 here that just absolutely they murdered. They were so good. But I'm curious to know, what is your favorite kill from Final Destination Bloodlines?
So I had to go with my boy Eric and his brother Bobby for the double MRI kill. Oh my God. As soon as they went into the room with the MRI and it turned on, I was like, oh my God, he's got all of those piercings. Where is this going? We've got a spring that's loose. I already knew that there was going to be some kind of a setup where eventually that spring would go somewhere, but I was not expecting it to go where it went.
Yes,
and that was fucking wild. That whole execution of the scene.
It's so good. So basically what they're going to do, his brother is allergic to nuts, and they're going to try to basically, since they're in a hospital setting, kill this kid and EpiPen him back to life to try to cheat death. And we know how this goes in the Final Destination series. But yeah, this is a gnarly, brutal, just ratcheting of tension, layers, all that stuff. It's such a great one. And I think that this will go down as one of the most iconic death scenes in the entire series, for sure. But the one that I chose instead is the lawnmower scene with Howard.
Oh, that's a good one, though.
The reason I love this so much, the death itself isn't the grandest, but everything that plays out before it, I just absolutely adore. This was in also another trailer for the movie where they're at a backyard barbecue, and you get a point of view of so many things that could go wrong and take someone. Who's it going to be? How are they going to go? There's a shard of glass and a drink, and drinks are being handed out, and you have a rake underneath the trampoline, and things dripping. It just it just is such a convoluted and crazy, it's just what Final Destination does the best. It's just this misdirect and mystery and surprise of what happens. And when he falls and that lawnmower takes him out, I screamed. I screamed, laughed. It was just so fun and funny and good. And yeah, but the MRI went, I mean, honestly.
And that character was so sweet too. The dad was so sweet. He's like, as soon as he steps on the shard of glass, he's like, "Oh, I'm okay. I'm okay." And I'm like, "Oh my God, no, you're not okay. You're not
okay, right. You're not going to be okay.
Oh no."
But yeah, this movie is insanely fun and I highly recommend it, guys. I mean, I assume if you're watching this, you've probably seen the Final Destination series and probably Bloodlines. But yeah, this is a more than worthy sequel. And like I said, I think one of the best of the series.
Yes.
All right. And so, as we said earlier in the video, we are going to rank the Final Destination series. There are 6 movies total. And before I get my ranking out there, I just want to say that I just really like this series. Just because there's a movie that might kind of be on the lower end or place in the middle doesn't mean I don't like it. There's just a lot of fun to be had here and a lot of quality movies. And this was some tough decision making and
very tough.
Maybe mine might be controversial, maybe because I've been switching this up to the last second. We'll say that.
Me too.
But all right. So as far as the worst, or well, I don't even want to say the worst, our number 6 choice for the Final Destination franchise, Miss Carly, what is your number 6?
Mine has got to be Part 5.
And so is mine. I made that very last minute decision.
Yes, me too. Today.
And I'm going to today for me too. And I'm going to agree. While technically, like we said earlier, 4 is a worse movie overall. I would reach for that and watch it again before 5 every single time.
Yes. It's just fun to make fun of. You can just laugh at the ridiculousness of it. Yeah. There's
something comforting about how bad it is, sort of. It makes it rank a little higher for me.
Yes.
So I'm going to assume we're going to be having the same one as our number 5. So Miss Carly, what is your number 5?
Well, then that would have to be The Final Destination, aka Final Destination 4.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you on this one. And I think probably for both of us here on out, this was hard.
Yes, very hard.
Because a lot of these are they're just so neck and neck for me that yeah, this was really hard. So all of the movies from here on out, I love all of them. So just because one place is a little lower does not mean I don't have any love for it. So 4th place for you, Miss Carly, in the Final Destination series.
Part 3.
Okay. Part 4 for me, I went with Part 2.
Okay, that's fair.
And the only reason for that is Kimberly.
I know she's such a flat character. I feel for Kimberly. Poor Kimberly. She really tries. But AJ, what's her? Not she's AJ Cook, but Allie Larder, like just completely overshadows her, and she's just a minor character, even though she's top billed. I mean, I understand why she's top billed because as soon as she comes on the screen, we're paying attention to her more than poor Kimberly.
I almost switched my 3rd and 4th place literally just because of Allie Larder and put 2 one notch higher, but
yeah,
I had to follow my heart, guys. All right, so 3rd place for you.
That is going to be Bloodlines.
Okay. 3rd place for me, I did Part 3.
Okay.
What about 2nd place?
2nd place is going to be Part 2.
Okay. 2nd place for me, I did Bloodlines. I was super impressed with this movie. That could change. I've seen all these now more than once other than Bloodlines. That could definitely change. But I love it. I think Bloodlines is great. I even toyed with the idea of giving this my number 1 spot, but I just could not do that because as we've both chosen clearly, Part 1, Final Destination from 2000 is the best in the series. It set up this just iconic franchise and is sort of the most, and even though I like when it gets batshit crazy, this is sort of the most grounded of the series, and it just lays an incredible groundwork for everything that follows. And Flight 180 will always be iconic. The performances are great. And
it's true horror. It's not, obviously it has some aspects and some things that are kind of funny in it, but it's the most serious of the series. And I think that the music, everything just works fantastically for it.
Yep. And the opening premonition scene here, it was hard in a way not to choose it as the best because it's genuinely frightening. It's a harrowing couple of minutes to watch this plane go down. People are burning alive, exploding, like all of that. It's grand, it's big, and it just kicks off this whole entire series with such a bang. And it was hard not to do that, but the log truck, it had to take it, guys. It's just too iconic. But yeah, part one, I'm glad we're in agreement on that one. And honestly, like pretty much everything other than my last two places could be sort of interchangeable in there because I just like this in series so much.
I mean, especially my top three. I had a really hard time between Bloodlines and part two. I kept going back and forth as to which one would be two and which one would be three. So I think it really depends on what my mood is for the day. I could totally change this again, but as of right now, probably Bloodlines is third, part two is two, and then of course the original.
Yeah, and this is also arbitrary. It's when you're dealing with something that's consistently this high quality, I think it's just
really your preference.
People could probably argue any of these movies as their very favorite, and I would be on board with them for it. I may not agree necessarily, but I could see something about each one just being someone's favorite. Even part four, like, I mean,
I was going to say, except for part five.
Yeah, okay, right.
Part five is a little, I can't see that being anybody's favorite. I just can't.
And I think
it could.
I originally had part four as my least favorite.
Yes,
it just isn't. It's just not true. And yeah, I have to live my truth, guys. I have to live truth. Part five is, there's no movie in the series that's a slog, but if there was one, part five would be the slog.
It's the closest, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it was so much fun to do this and to talk about this series. And that's our plan here with Chad and Carly's Creepy Corner. We want to dive into some horror franchises and make this just a place on the channel that's devoted to horror and our love for horror, and gives us an opportunity to sort of have this outlet and discuss something that we both are really passionate about and really love. So this is the inaugural episode of that, and we'll definitely have plans for more coming up soon. And if you guys have any ideas for series or movies that you would like to hear us talk about, we're always open to that. I'll leave ways to contact us via social media or here on YouTube. You can leave comments to let us know what you would like. But yeah, we would definitely love that. I have some grand plans for this, and I think Carly does too. And I think moving forward, we're just going to have so much fun and so much fun stuff to talk about. And horror, man. And we love the guys. We love Miss Brad from Canada, and we love Mr. Coach. But they don't love horror the way we do. So yeah, we got to carve out our space for this. They get to cover some TV stuff, and we'll cover the horror guys. But of course, we're always going to still have the podcast. We film it every week, and we generally have it out on either Thursday or Friday of every week, either here on YouTube or anywhere you catch audio podcasts. That's absolutely still happening. And even though this is the Scene Invaders podcast channel, I mean, clearly this is not a channel just devoted to the podcast. We're trying to diversify our content here and come at you with just everything that we love, and just make this an all-encompassing place for movies, movie talk, and recommendations for movies. We watch a lot of stuff, and we like to sort of try to steer you in the direction of watch this or don't. So, right. Is there anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Your time's coming, Chocolate.
Okay, well, oh my God, I am dead. Holy shit. Well, with that being said, thank you so much for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, share it, do all the YouTube things that I'm supposed to say. And like I said, podcast coming up this week. And then Carly and I are going to start working on our next episode of Chad and Carly's Creepy Corner. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.